that your car?
Yeah.
Something's wrong, Enrique.
Christina Marie Morris was born on July 25, 1991, in Wiley, Texas, to parents Mark and Anna Morris. She grew up in Allen, Texas, and in 2009, she graduated from Allen High School. Christina then earned a bachelor's degree in marketing from the University of Texas at Dallas. She was described as a vibrant and expressive individual who was full of heart. She lived her life by her favorite James Dean quote, "Dream as if you'll live forever. Live as if you'll die today." By age 23, Christina was living in Fort Worth, Texas, with her boyfriend, Hunter Foster, and working in marketing for a dating service. She celebrated her birthday in July of 2014, and then strangely disappeared 1 month later. On August 30th, 2014, Christina traveled back to her hometown of Plano to hang out with some high school friends at a planned gathering. It all took place at the Shops at Legacy, and they spent the night hitting up bars and restaurants, including Henry's Tavern and Scruffy Duffy's. Christina's friend, Paulina Petrosky, lived in an apartment on site, and after the bars closed at 2 a.m., a group of them decided to go back to her place to continue hanging out. Paulina was the organizer of the get-together and had invited a former classmate named Enrique Orochi. He'd graduated with Christina and some others, but no one, including Christina, had hung out with him before. At some point while at Paulina's apartment, Sabrina Boss attempted to lie down on the couch to sleep, but Orochi was already sitting there and refused to move over. So she refused to lie down, which noticeably angered him, as he wanted Sabrina to lie down with him. So she chose to go to sleep in a bedroom instead. As she was walking away, Orochi said to her, and I quote, "Fine, I'll just go home." Unfortunately, Christina was also leaving at this time and was terrified to walk alone in the dark. So Orochi offered to walk with her and she accepted. They arrived at the Legacy parking garage at 3:55 a.m. Surveillance footage showed them walking in together, and after that, she was never seen alive again. After Christina's disappearance, they obtained surveillance footage from the parking garage and quickly identified Orochi as the man seen walking with her. He was then brought in for questioning.
And if you don't mind if I look in your car, that's great, and then I could say I did. And I hope you understand, and thank you for being cooperative.
No, it's no problem. Whatever I can do to help.
And claimed that after walking into the garage, they went their separate ways and he never saw her again.
Was she in your car at all that night? Did you give her a ride, like, when you guys moved the car to park? Has she ever been in your car?
Mm-mm.
Not at all?
No.
However, a forensic search of his car would prove otherwise. On some weather stripping on the trunk lid and on an interior mat, investigators recovered Christina's DNA. Orochi was then arrested in December 2014 and charged with aggravated kidnapping. Still, Christina was nowhere to be found. In September 2016, he was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole until 2046. Even then, the search for Christina continued. For years, searchers had no luck until March 7, 2018, when construction workers who were clearing brush in a wooded area of Anna, Texas, discovered Christina's remains. While this area had been searched before, the vegetation was so thick that it was almost impossible to do a thorough ground search without some kind of equipment. This area had been on the investigators' radar because Orochi and Christina's phone pinged off a cell tower less than a mile away. This was after he lied and said that, after parting ways with Christina, he went straight home to Allen, Texas, but his cell phone pings contradicted that. However, Orochi would never be charged with murder because he'd already been sentenced to life in prison for the aggravated kidnapping charge. He would have been given a capital murder charge, but that required kidnapping as the aggravating factor, and since he had already been found guilty of that, it would have violated double jeopardy rules. While a motive behind the murder remains unclear, Investigators theorized that Orochi was still mad about his encounter with Sabrina, and as they approached their vehicles, which were parked in spots across from each other, he made a pass at Christina and was rejected once again. They believed this sent him into a rage, and he attacked her. Evidence such as the dents found on the outside of Orochi's vehicle and bite marks and scratches found on Orochi's arm and hands suggested a violent struggle occurred. The surveillance footage gave investigators insight into the timing of the crime, which they believe lasted about 3 minutes. They also believe she was still alive when Orochi drove away with her. The following day, he was seen intensely cleaning his car and the trunk area. Unfortunately, since it took 4 years to locate her remains, the exact cause of death couldn't be determined. To this day, Orochi has never confessed to the crime, but thankfully he will most likely spend the rest of his life behind bars. Lauren Teresa Giddings was born on April 18, 1984, in Tacoma Park, Maryland, to parents Bill and Karen Giddings. She grew up in Laurel, Maryland, the eldest of 3 sisters, and from an early age excelled at academics. She was a student at Appleton High School, where she played both field hockey and softball. After graduating in 2002, she moved to Georgia and enrolled at Agnes Scott College. In 2006, she graduated with a major in political science and a minor in religious studies. She was able to achieve that even while playing softball all 4 years and working as a waitress. After graduation, she returned to Maryland and worked at the National Center for Public Policy in Washington, D.C., before deciding to earn her law degree in 2008. So she applied to Mercer University's Walter F. George School of Law in Macon and was accepted. This took her right back to Georgia. She excelled at law school, like she did everything else, and earned her Juris Doctor degree on May 14, 2011. She then began preparing to sit for the bar exam, but sadly would never get the chance. On the weekend of June 24, 2011, Lauren returned to Macon after attending her sister Caitlin's wedding in Maryland. She told her family she planned to devote all her time to studying for the bar exam. So when she stopped responding, it didn't initially raise any red flags. But by Monday morning, June 27th, when calls and text messages were still going unanswered, her family's fears began to grow. When 2 more days had passed and there was still nothing, Lauren's sister, Caitlin, began to reach out to Lauren's friends, but quickly realized they hadn't heard from her either. At that point, their father, Bill, drove straight to Macon, Georgia, and filed a missing persons report. That same day, investigators went to her apartment and made a horrifying discovery. Inside a trash can outside her apartment building was Lauren's torso. This immediately shifted this from a missing persons case to a homicide investigation. You might actually remember this case and not even realize it, because this clip of fellow law school graduate Stephen Mark McDaniel went viral after his interview with WGXA.
Yeah, Lauren was my neighbor. We're just trying to find out where she is at this point. I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday. I mean, the last time anyone heard from her was an email that she sent out, and no one's heard from her since.
Did you see her hang out with anyone at the time, anything like that?
I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday. I haven't seen anything. I mean, you always hear noise outside, but it's just people walking by pretty much.
And she just recently graduated from Mercer?
Yeah, she and I were both JD students. We graduated back in May.
What kind of person was she? I mean, what did you see?
I mean, she's as nice as can be. I mean, very personable, very much a people person.
Do you know any enemies she might have had, somebody that might want to hurt her?
No, we don't know where she is. I mean, the only thing we can think is that maybe she went out running and someone snatched her. Because I mean, we went over. One of her friends had a key. We went inside and tried to see if there was anything amiss. But I mean, she had a door jamb that was sitting right by it, so there was no sign that anyone broke in. I mean, the door was locked when everyone got here. I mean, we just don't know where she is.
What about in the the parking lot area. I know they've been doing a lot of, I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body?
Had you seen anything there? Had you seen anything there? I mean, we don't know if this is the same person. You know what I mean? Like, they took out a body there earlier. We don't know if it's the same person or not. So that's how we're trying to ask people if they know who lived there. Are you okay, sir?
I think I know.
The interview came about when the reporter at the scene was having difficulty finding anyone willing to talk. So when she spotted McDaniel walking across the street, she immediately approached him, having no idea at the time how critical the interview would be. As you can see in the video, his demeanor quickly changes after learning that a body had been found. It would later be learned that his reaction was not because he was mourning his friend's death, but something much worse. McDaniel and Lauren knew each other from law school and were both involved in the Federalist Society, where Lauren had served as president and McDaniel as vice president. He also just happened to live in the apartment right next door to her at Barrister's Hall apartment complex. After discovering part of Lauren's remains, the investigators began going door to door, asking neighbors to immediately allow police to search their unit, and everyone agreed except for McDaniel, who cited his, and I quote, lawyerly protective nature. After some coaxing, he eventually let them search, but only while he was present. He then agreed to go to the police station with other neighbors for an interview, and that interview turns out to be one of the strangest I've ever seen.
Just tell me what happened, brother.
I don't know.
Well, where's she at? I'm asking you for your help. I'm a detective, and I'm asking you for your help. Okay? I'm asking you for help. I need your help. Can you help me?
I don't know.
You don't know if you can help me?
Yes.
I need your help. Help me out. Tell me what to do. Has anybody asked you for help today? I'm asking you as a friend for help. Can you help me?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You can't help a friend out?
I don't know what you need.
I need to know where Lauren's at.
I don't know.
When's the last time you seen her?
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Have you ever seen anybody over her house the last couple nights?
No.
Okay. If you knew where she was, would you tell me?
Yes.
What do you think happened to her?
I don't know.
Do you even care that no one can find her?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know, do you?
Yes.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No.
Did you think Lauren was your girlfriend?
No.
For long stretches of time, he remains completely motionless, staring fixedly at the wall or staring directly into the detective's eyes. At one point, a detective asked if he was counting the pores in the concrete block wall. While that's definitely odd behavior, what really caught detectives' attention was 2 fresh 3 to 5 inch scratches that they found on McDaniel's stomach that looked like fingernail marks. When asked about them, he claimed he had cut himself in his sleep. During the interview, he spoke about being a virgin, but investigators had seen unused condoms at his apartment earlier. After confronting him about the discrepancy, he admitted that he entered 2 neighboring apartments through unlocked doors and took 1 condom from each. Even though investigators suspected he was involved in Lauren's death, they didn't have enough to charge him with murder. So they used the confession regarding the stolen condoms to arrest him on burglary charges. This allowed them to keep him in jail while they processed his computer and searched his apartment. Outside the apartment in the maintenance closet, investigators found a hacksaw that they suspected could be involved in the murder. It would later become the most crucial piece of evidence in the case when investigators discovered the packaging for it inside McDaniel's apartment. The hacksaw was then sent off for DNA testing. When investigators searched inside his apartment, they discovered a master key for the entire apartment complex and a second key specifically cut to fit Lauren's door. They also found a pair of Lauren's underwear in his dresser and a thumb drive containing her personal photos. On his computer were deleted videos showing him peeping into Lauren's windows. He accomplished this by mounting the camera on a long wooden pole. When they checked his internet history, they found searches on how to disable the burglar bar Lauren used on her door. She began using the device because she felt uneasy after suspecting someone had been entering her apartment while she was away. It was also discovered that McDaniel watched sadistically violent adult materials in the months leading up to the murder. There was also a massive cache of inappropriate child materials on his computer. On top of that, he was found to have been posting on the internet on such websites as a 4chan image board spin-off called Operator Chan, a science fiction and fantasy forum called sff.net, and the infamous Backpage.com website that was shut down on April 6, 2018, after being seized by the federal government. McDaniel had spent hours on the Backpage site, combing through escort advertisements and erotic fiction. On the other sites, he used the screen name SOL, which is short for Son of Liberty, and often expressed deep-seated hatred for women and detailed the violent fantasies he had. In a now infamous post, he detailed a hypothetical plan to murder someone and avoid prison by faking a mental breakdown or blackout during interrogation, behavior he later appeared to mimic during his actual interview. He also posted about fantasies involving murdering members of the Westboro Baptist Church and researched methods to incapacitate victims using drugs like chloroform. In even more chilling searches, he looked for ways to sexually assault a sleeping girl, clearly referring to Lauren, whom he had videotaped sleeping from outside her window. All this occurred while investigators anxiously awaited the DNA results from the hacksaw, and when they finally arrived, they confirmed not only her death, but the horrific violence she endured after she died. It was also the last piece of evidence to tie McDaniel to Lauren's death, and on August 2, 2011, his charges were officially upgraded to felony murder. McDaniel's mother was very outspoken and publicly defended her son, claiming that he'd been framed and that his, and I quote, divine intervention had actually shown him the real killer. Over the next 3 years, McDaniel would make a mockery of the court system, acting as his own co-counsel. He heavily managed his own defense and was known for bringing carts full of legal documents to hearings and meticulously questioning the police handling of evidence. He often focused on minor procedural errors rather than the massive pile of physical evidence against him. Then a major controversy emerged when it was revealed that a sheriff's deputy had been intercepting his legal research forms from the jail library. These forms, which detail his defense strategy and questions for witnesses, were allegedly copied and emailed to the district attorney. While intercepting a defendant's legal research and defense strategy is generally illegal and violates the Sixth Amendment and the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment, prosecutors got around it because McDaniel was submitting the research forms to the jailer instead of directly to his attorney. McDaniel might still have had a case against him, but because he felt his defense strategy had been ruined by this, he accepted a plea deal on April 21, 2014, 1 week before his trial was scheduled to begin. His only stipulation for accepting the plea deal was that Lauren's family dropped the wrongful death suit that they had filed against him in 2013. Instead of doing that, they agreed to a consent judgment, which legally found McDaniel liable for Lauren's death, but prevented a long civil trial. This will also allow Lauren's family to seek monetary damages if McDaniel is ever granted parole. The plea deal allowed him to avoid the death penalty and receive life in prison instead if he provided a full confession, and that's exactly what he did. He said that on June 26, 2011, at approximately 4:30 a.m., he entered Lauren's apartment wearing gloves and a mask. He then made his way to Lauren's bedroom, where he briefly watched her sleep. However, a floorboard creaked, causing her to wake up and sit up in bed. A struggle then ensued as McDaniel began strangling her. During the encounter, she managed to pull his mask off, and upon realizing who it was, she said, and I quote, "Stephen, please stop." Sadly, her pleas fell on deaf ears. After she was dead, he left her body in her bedroom, and by 5:42 a.m. was back on his computer searching for blades. Shortly after that, in a bizarre twist, He began watching The Hangover Part 2 on his computer. The following day, on June 27th, he returned to Lauren's apartment with the hacksaw he bought and dismembered her body in the bathtub. The limbs and head were put in a dumpster at the law school across the street. The torso was wrapped in plastic bags and placed in the trash can outside the apartment complex, where it was ultimately found. He later admitted he researched the local garbage collection schedule to ensure the remains would be taken to the landfill before Lauren's death was discovered. Thankfully, that plan failed. For several days before the torso was found, McDaniel participated in searches for Lauren, even providing what he considered helpful theories to those looking for her. He basically thought he was smarter than everyone else involved, but he was sadly mistaken, and in the end, he received life in prison with eligibility for parole after 30 years. Unfortunately, all subsequent searches for Lauren's missing remains have been unsuccessful. As of February 2026, Stephen McDaniel remains incarcerated at Hancock State Prison in Georgia, with parole eligibility beginning in 2041.